Right, so this video, the wind totally ruined the audio. I do need to get a better way of recording, maybe. Doesn't look as windy as it actually was, but it was a bit windier than it was actually forecast. So I'll do a little bit of voiceover here and there. All it is basically, I'm just fishing for some herring right outside, or right in the dock bar, Holyhead. To be fair, it would have been easier, a lot less stress, just going from the shore, because it was literally a little 30-yard lob where the main shoal of fish were. And it was quite a big shoal, kept hitting on them. But yeah, because it's going to be quite a boring video to anyone who doesn't want to see me catching a load of herring. But yeah, might be of some interest to anyone local really who wants to go down and get some herring. I actually went down, I got off the boat about 7 o'clock, so it was dark. And I went back down at 8:30 with Carry On Parry and Gussie Tackle Lines just for a few casts, trying to get a squid. I'd spoke to someone whilst I was out on the boat and they were getting squid. So I put the boat away, went and met Mr. Parry, and there was no squid. He had quite a lot of fish on this small, I think, whiting and pouting, but check his video out. Yeah, and more importantly, I had no squid, so I was pretty gutted. We did have a few more herring from the show, from Dock Bar. I do explain in this video whereabouts I was casting towards, and anyone who knows Dock Bar, if you stand on the right hand side and cast towards the lighthouse that you can see in the background there, just right at the lighthouse, there was a big shoal just sitting around, and I've been there a couple of times in the last few weeks and had good success on the herring. As you can see, it is a bit lumpy out there, a bit of a swell. Nothing too uncomfortable, but obviously I couldn't go out to the main sea, that would have been too blowy. But yeah, I just wanted to get out really. I was going to fish into darkness, obviously, and having a boat full of fresh herring, I could have probably found somewhere out of the wind to anchor up for the eels, but I'd been out the day before on the boat and I was pretty much boated out. I just wanted to get some herring really. Yeah, so I was just using small sabikis on one rod to start with, and then obviously I've got 2 rods off the back and using 1 rod as well, which I couldn't keep up at one point. There's that many herring coming over, but it was good fun, good workout, and a freezer full of fresh bait for me. Carry On, I give him a dozen or so, and then the rest went to Winnie's Worms, the tackle shop. So he's got some nice fresh herring in. We'll use some for the match tomorrow, Friday's match on Newry. Try and get some huss with them. Yeah, I am there wearing Paige's leggings underneath my trousers. They're actually better than thermal underskins, Under Armours. She does know that I've got them as well, and I do stop at wearing the leggings. There isn't a thong under there. That'd be too uncomfortable. But yeah, anyone who gets cold legs, then Pretty Little Thing leggings are the fucking future, to be fair. I've got thermal underskins, and to be fair, they aren't as good. Look, there you go. You can see them there. Pretty Little Thing. What a hobo. But so long as you're warm, doesn't matter. I'm certainly not bothered. I'm drifting quite quickly here. I'm starting my drift over by the lighthouse you can see in the background. You know, within 2.5, 3 minutes, I'm back towards Dock Bar, the actual dock itself. I almost hit it 3 or 4 times, just getting carried away, catching the fish. Didn't hit it. In fact, yesterday I didn't hit anything, which is quite a rarity for me on my boat. I'm usually bouncing off, you know, luckily just buoys normally. The odd pontoon, very rarely another boat, but it has been known. But there you go. Most of these to start with in daylight were singles that I was catching on the sabikis, and then as soon as the light started to fade, the herring seemed to really switch on. I think at this point we were bang on low water as well, so I had a couple of hours before I could comfortably get down the slip. Although the slip that I use at the marina where the boat is, you can pretty much get your boat in and out any state of tide. They were particularly low tides them actually, so I figured I'd stay out into darkness on the herring. Probably I didn't stay out and do any bait fishing, which was the initial plan. You can see then how close I was to the dock, so well within casting range these herring. A little flick. Previous trip to just to the right, 300 yards, 400 yards off Dock Back last week with a friend, we were getting mackerel still in and amongst the shoals of herring, and they weren't bad size either. You know, for mid-November. I know mackerel were actually caught yesterday on another boat. The day before, Mike Stewart's boat, I think they had something like 8 or 9 species, 10 species. So the winter fishing, you know, is incredible. They were still getting wrasse, bass. Obviously bass will be around, but, you know, reef fish, you know, smelt and things like that you'd normally associate with summer. They were hauling them in, which is really nice on our inshore reefs. To see that this time of year. Well, I don't know if it is nice or if it's global warming gone fucking skits, but either way, I'll be dead before we see the full effects of it, so bring on the summer species in winter. All the lights are coming on the dock now. The light does fade quite quickly. You'll see I have to put the boat into night mode in a minute. In fact, it's coming up now. Here's night mode. Basic setup. Shithole of a boat. I keep meaning to go down the marina and clean it, but I'm just making the most of when I can get out. Last minute trips. There's a little bed in there. Everything I need. Power hub. So the radio. That's a folding bed. I've fallen asleep on that a couple of times. Plenty of lights on the boat as well. Got cab lights, spotlights, deck lights, headlights, fucking you name it, I've got them lights. Nav lights on the side here as well are an absolute must. There we go, lights going now. This is when the fishing starts to switch on a little bit. Looks brutal, but herring have such soft mouths. For one, you struggle to land them. You know, once you've got them on, you have to really be careful. Nice, steady, slow retrieve. Two, to be honest, they're so easy to unhook, really. You can just shake them off. Unless they've got a hook in through the head or something like that, they'll usually just shake off, which is good because they're slimy, horrible fish. really starting to get some good numbers of them now. Hopefully they're all vac packed. Well, I imagine they're all vac packed now in the freezer as bait for the winter huss. Well, pretty much anything will take them. Winnie's worms in Holyhead. The wind had started to drop off at this point a little bit. There we go, there's my arse crack again. Should be a model for Pretty Little Thing, I reckon. Pretty Little Thing thermal fishing range. I think that'll take off. Guessing by my face there, I'm starting to get a bit cold. Certainly my hands are freezing. I think I'll knock it on the head now. Pretty sure I do. The journey back into the marina was relatively easy. When you use Navionics, you can just set your destination and follow that. You don't really need to physically see in front of you where you're going. It does help because obviously mooring buoys, lobster pots. So I do have my headlight and the spotlight on the front of the boat. But I've stayed out all night on this boat. There we go, there's the dock. That's how close I was getting. Probably about 30 seconds from hitting it then if I'd carried on drifting. But yeah, a lot of people, they're put off by going out on the boat at night. It isn't, as daunting. The first couple of times are, but so long as you've got everything you need on board, all the safety gear, and some form of GPS, plotter, or Navionics as a backup is a must. This thing looked like a fucking spaceship in the sea. That's the terminal, the ferry terminal. At night, it look like a spaceship had landed. It was pretty mad. Quite eerie, actually, going under there. It's not fully pitch black now, but you can see, the camera makes it look lighter than it actually is. And here's our haul. Probably around 80 in total. Good size herring as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Plenty of bait for everyone. Bit of bait for the local fishing shop. And all around good fun.